Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for joining us. I'd like to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can finish the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam today. 19th chapter is I believe, the last chapter in this canto. But just before we go there, we can do a quick summary of the first canto. We'd like to seek the good wishes and blessings of Shishi Radha Krishna, Shishi Krishna Balaram, Shishi Gonitai, Srila Prabhupada, and Guru Maharaj, because without their blessings, we are not really capable of doing anything. So we want their kindness and their wonderful good wishes. They are our ever well wishes. So if we can get their blessings, then nothing can stop us from performing bhakti. So this is a very quick overview of the first canto. The first chapter, I suppose, was the sages of Naimisharanya. They asked the 6 questions of Sutta Goswami, which he answers over a couple of chapters. And then there's a list that Sutta Goswami gives of the 22 incarnations and how he explains that Krishna Astu Bhagwan Swayam. Krishna is the source of all the avatars. It really lays down the position of Krishna. Narad Muni, then he guides Vyasadev to glorify Krishna and give an account of his own life. He gives an account of his own life. Then we see the Lord saves Pariksit in the womb of his mother. And then Kunti shares some incredible prayers. And one of them is this one. Although, especially those who are materially exhausted can easily approach the Lord and sever ties of attachment. If we're still on this path of material enjoyment, it's quite hard to approach the Supreme Lord. There's not enough room in our heart to include the Supreme Lord. Then Bhishma's instructions to Yudhishthira are given, and his subsequent departure in the presence of Krishna, which is actually today. Makar Sankranti is when Bhishma leaves, because today is the day the sun comes into the northern hemisphere, and it's regarded an auspicious time to leave the planet. Yudhishthira's devotional rule is described, and Krishna returns to Dwarka, even though they've tried to persuade him to stay. He does stay extra, but still he returns to Dwarka, and he's met there respectfully by the elders. And he's respectful to the elders, actually. Then Pariksit Maharaj's birth is described. The predictions about his qualities are given. And then Vidur returns to Hastinapur. He tells Dhritarashtra, what are you still doing home? You're living in the home of those who've destroyed your sons, and you're still living here. You're still so attached. Get out of here. And he does. He leaves with his wife. And Vidur joins him. And he also attains salvation by meditation, Dhritarashtra. Then Yudhishthira sees bad omens, and Arjuna returns from Dwarka dejected, defeated, and he informs the king Krishna has departed. He prefers spiritual word. And then Yudhishthira also decided, let's go. We're tired. Krishna's not here anymore. What's there to live for? Let's go back to Godhead. Kali breaks the 3 legs of Dharma. So we saw that a couple of weeks back, and in the form of a bull, and earth takes the form of a cow. Very sad that Krishna has left the planet. Pariksit Maharaj understands Kali is coming through and threatens him, but Kali surrenders onto Pariksit Maharaj, and whoever surrenders onto the king is protected, and he's given some places to stay. And then Pariksit Maharaj insults. Last week we saw Samika Rishi and his son Shrini, very immature, curses Pariksit to die in 7 days. So let's see what's there today. Okay, and oh, and Puna Mataji, is Shavi there to read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yay, great, Shavi. It's so nice to hear your voice every time. So over to you, Anandali Lamaji.
Hare Krishna to everybody. Srimad Bhagavata Puran ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 1, Chapter 19, The Appearance of Sukadeva Goswami. Sutta Uvacha Mahipatistva Tatkarma Gariyam Vichintayannatma Kritam Sudurmanah Aho Mayancham Anaryavat Niragasi Brahmani Gurhati Jashi.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, while returning home, the king, Maharaj Pariksit, felt that the act he had committed against the faultless and powerful Brahmin was
heinous and uncivilized. Consequently, he was distressed.
Dhruvam tato me kritadeva helana duratyayam yasanam nati dirghat tadastu kamam hi aghaniskritaya me yathana kuryam punareva madha.
King Pariksit thought, due to my neglecting the injunctions of the Supreme Lord, I must certainly expect some difficulty to overcome me in the near future. I now desire without reservation that the calamity come now, for in this way I may be freed of the sinful action and not commit such an offense again.
Adyaiva rajyam balamriddhakosham prakopita brahma kulanalumi dahatva bhradasya punarnami bhut papi yasidhir dvijadeva gubhyaha.
I am uncivilized and sinful due to my neglect of Brahminical culture, God consciousness, and cow protection. Therefore, I wish that my kingdom, strength, and riches burn up immediately by the fire of the Brahmin's wrath, so that in the future I may not be guided by such inauspicious attitudes.
Sachintayannitham atha srinudhyatha mune sutokto nirati sakshakakyaha sasadhu menena chirena takshaka nalam prasaktasya virakti karanam.
While the king was thus repenting, he received news of his imminent death, which would be due to the bite of a snake bird, occasioned by the curse spoken by the sage's son. The king accepted this as good news, for it would be the cause of his indifference toward worldly things.
Atho vihayemam amum jalokam विमर्शितो हेयतया पुरस्तात् कृष्णाङ्घ्रिसेवामधिमन्यमान उपाविशत्प्रायम् अमर्त्यनाद्यम्.
Maharaj Pariksit sat down firmly on the banks of the Ganga to concentrate his mind in Krishna consciousness, rejecting all the other practices to self-realization, because transcendental loving service to Krishna is the greatest achievement, superseding to all other methods.
या वै लसच्रे तुलसी विमिश्रा कृष्णाङ्घ्रिरेन्वाभ्यधिकाम्बुनेत्री पुनातिलोकानुभयत्र शेषान् कस्तां न सेवितामरिष्यमाणः.
The river by which the king sat to fast carries the most auspicious water, which is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord and tulsi leaves. Therefore, that water sanctifies the three worlds inside and outside, and even sanctifies Lord Shiva and other demigods. Consequently, everyone who is destined to die must take shelter to this river.
इति व्यवचिद्य स पाण्डवेया प्रायोपवेशां प्रतिविष्णुपद्यां दधो मुकुन्दाङ्घ्रिम् अनन्यभावो मुनिव्रतो मुक्तः समस्तसङ्गः.
Thus the king, the worthy descendant of the Pandavas, decided once and for all and sat on the Ganga's bank, so to fast until death, and gave himself up to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who alone is able to award liberation. So, freeing himself from all kinds of associations and attachments, he accepted the vows of sage.
Well done, Shevi. I know you haven't been well and you read so nicely. I hope you are recovering very quickly, okay? First 7 verses. King Pariksit regretted his actions committed against the innocent sage. And this is what happens. You know, often we make some mistakes. It's just human nature to make mistakes. But if we don't realize we've made mistakes and try to improve, then we're in a sticky place. Pariksit Maharaj, he was great saintly king. And of course, what he did by placing the snake and the dead snake around the neck of Samikarishi wasn't a good act. And he realized immediately, I've made a mistake and I am sure there was going to be a price to pay. So he expected difficulty due to his misbehavior. And in life, when we come across difficult, challenging situations, we can understand that these are because of our own acts in the past that we've committed, which has given rise to these challenges. And so we take ownership of those, and we don't point fingers at others or blame others for our own predicament. Others may be used by Krishna as instruments of our own karma. And that's all they are, the instruments of our karma. They're not the reason we're suffering. We are the reason we're suffering because we've made the mistake in the first place. Anyway, whilst thus repenting, the king received news of his imminent death due to the curse of the sage's son. Now, mostly we would think that's bad news. I've been cursed to die. Or, you know, curse means bad news. But this is, see, the nature of the devotee. Never takes any news as bad. Always takes it as good news. Thank you, my dear Lord. The king accepted this as good news. for it would be the cause of his indifference towards worldly things. This is the most magnificent behavior of a devotee. We get karma come to us, we get challenging stuff thrown at us, and what do? We usually curse the Lord or we curse somebody. But a devotee, he says, no, this is fine. This is Krishna's arrangement. He could have been a lot worse. He's made it a lot softer for me. And I will take solace from this difficulty and take more shelter of the Supreme Lord. After freeing himself from all kinds of associations and attachments, King Pariksit sat down firmly on the banks of the Ganga to concentrate his mind in Krishna consciousness. What an example. This is one of the most extraordinary acts of behavior. Really gives us some inspiration. There's nothing is lost in life. We may come across tough situations, but it's okay. Doesn't matter. In this way, he accepted the vow of a sage. He could have stayed 1 week at home, eaten, enjoyed, no sleep, just partied. He knows he's going to die in 7 days. Let's enjoy, let's party. He was a king after all. Enjoy our senses, do whatever I can in the 7 days, and then I'll die. Doesn't matter. But no, he was very self-realized, very focused. Let me go to the Ganga and wait for some saintly people to come and guide me. Extraordinary. So there's a question by Sunil, dear Prabhu, what about if a so-called mistake is done unknowingly? Of course, mistakes done unknowingly karma is karma. If you're walking down the road and you step on ants and you kill the ants, you don't know you've done it. But karma's karma. You've been responsible for somebody's death. The punishment will be in relation to the intention. So it's not going to be much because you didn't intend for the mistake to take place, but still the mistake was done. However, this is why Krishna says, Sarva Dharma Parityaja, Sarva Dharma Parityaja. In the Bhagavad Gita 1866, he says, give up all kinds of religion and just surrender unto me. I will protect you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So the devotee of the Lord, his view is, doesn't matter. If I'm going to suffer for the karma that I have incurred or incurring, it's up to the Lord. Let him, it's up to him. Whatever he wants, it's good by me. So that's his attitude, that's his behavior. And this is the same thing which Pariksit Maharaj is doing here. It's okay. I've made the mistake. I didn't intentionally want to insult the sage. It just happened. But now I am due my punishment. I accept it. I take responsibility. I go to the Ganga and I become self-realized. Fantastic. Really, what a incredible attitude. Is that okay, Sunil? Does that make sense?
Dear Prabhu, but if time allows, I would like to go further, maybe
Yes.
after the class. At the end, yeah?
Oh, yeah, at the end, yeah. Good. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sunil.
Tatro prajagmurбhuvanam punana mahanubhava munaya sasishah prayena tirthabhigamapadeshaih swayam hi tirthani punanti santah.
At that time, all the great minds and thinkers, accompanied by their disciples and sages who could verily sanctify a place of pilgrimage just by their presence, arrived there on the plea of making a pilgrim's journey.
अत्रिर्वसिष्ठश्च वनः शरद्वान् अरिस्तनेमिर्भृगुरङ्गिराश्च पराशरो गाधीसुतथ राम उतथ्य इन्द्र प्रमदेध्मवाहो मेधातिथिर्देवलार्स्तिसेनो भारद्वाजो गौतमपि पलादः मैत्रेयोर्वः कवसः कुम्भयोनिर्द्वैपायनो भगवान् नारदश्च.
From different parts of the universe, there arrived great sages like Atri,
Javan,
Sharadavan,
Arishtanemi,
Arishtanemi, Bhrigu, Vishishta,
Parashara,
Parashara,
Mitra,
Vishwamitra,
Angira,
Angira, Parashuram, Uttatya, Indraparamada, Idmavahu,
Medhatithi,
Devala,
Ashtisena,
Ashtisena,
Bharadwaj,
Gautam,
Piplad, Maitreya, Aurava, Kavasha, Kumbhayoni,
Dvaipayan, and the great personality Narad.
अन्ये च देवर्षि ब्रह्मर्षिवर्या राजर्षिवर्या अरुणादयश्च नानार्षया प्रवरान् समेतान् अभ्यर्च्य राजा शिरसा ववन्दे.
There were also so many other stately demigods, kings, and special royal orders called Arunadayas, a special rank of Rajashris from different dynasties of sages. When they all assembled together to meet the emperor, Pariksit, he received them properly and bowed his head to the ground.
सुखोपविष्टे स्वार्थातेषु भूयः कृता प्रणामः स्वचिकीर्षितं यत् विज्ञापयामास विविक्तचेता उपस्थितो गृहीतपाणिः.
After all the rishis and others had seated themselves comfortably, the king, humbly standing before them with folded hands, told them of his decision to fast until death.
राजोवाच अहो वयं धन्यतमा नृपाणां महत्तमानुग्रहणीयशीलाः राज्ञां कुलं ब्राह्मणपादशोचात् दुराद्विशिष्टं बत गर्ह्यकर्म.
The fortunate king said, "Indeed, we are the most grateful of all the kings who are trained to get favors from the great souls. Generally, you sages consider royalty as refused to be rejected and left in a distant place."
तस्यैव मेघस्य परावरेशो व्यासक्तचित्तस्य गृहे स्वभीक्ष्णं निर्वेदमूलो द्विजशापरूपो यत्र प्रसक्तो भयमासु धत्ते.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of both the transcendental and mundane worlds, has graciously overtaken me in the form of a Brahman's curse. Due to my being too much attached to family life, the Lord, in order to save me, has appeared before me in such a way that only after fear I'll detach myself from the world.
Tammopayatam pratiyantu vipra Ganga cha devi dhritacheetamise Dvijopasrishtaha kuhakastakshakova Datatsvalam gayata Vishnu gatha.
O Brahmins, just accept me as a completely surrendered soul and let Mother Ganga, the representative of the Lord, also accept me in that way. For I have already taken the lotus feet of the Lord into my heart. Let the snake bird, whatever magical thing the Brahmin created, let me bite me at once. I only desire that you all continue singing the deeds of Lord Vishnu.
Punascha bhuyad bhagavati anante rati prasangascha tadasrayesu mahatsu yamyam upayami shristim maitriyastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah.
Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmins, I pray that if I should again take my birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings.
Iti smaraja cha vasaya yuktaha prachinna mulesu kuseshu dhiraha uranmukho dakshina kulaste samudra patnya swasutanyastha bharaha.
In perfect self-control, Maharaj Pariksit sat down on a seat of straw, with straw roots facing the east, placed on the southern bank of the Ganga, and he himself faced the north. Just previously, he had given charge of his kingdom over to his son.
Evam cha tasmin naradeva deve prayo praviste divideva sangha prasasya bhumo vyakiran prashunir mura muhurdundu bhaya chanidhu.
Thus the king, Maharaj Pariksit, sat to fast until death. All the demigods of the higher planets praised the king's actions and in pleasure continually scattered flowers over the earth and beat celestial drums.
Maharsayo vai samupagataye prasasya sadvaiti anumodamanaha uchuhu prajanu grahasila sara yad uttama sloka gunabhirupam.
All the great sages who were assembled there also praised the decision of Maharaj Pariksit, and they expressed their approval by saying, "Very good." Naturally, the sages are inclined to do good to common men, for they have all the qualitative powers of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they were very much pleased to see Maharaj Pariksit, a devotee of the Lord, and they spoke as follows.
Great, thank you. So, what happened when he sat on the Ganga? At that time, all the great minds and thinkers, accompanied by their disciples and highly elevated sages who could sanctify a place of pilgrimage just by their presence, arrived there in the plea of making a pilgrim's journey. So we saw the list, extensive list there. Well, it was not extensive, it was a small list because there was thousands of sages there and highly, highly elevated sages. Let's have a look at some of them actually. Narad was there. Vyasdev was there. These are extraordinarily highly elevated sages who could themselves liberate anybody by their words. So amazing. Okay. The king spoke to them as a completely surrendered soul, having taken shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. His only desire was that the sages continue singing the deeds of Lord Vishnu. And he was happy even if the snake bird bit him immediately. That's one of the qualities of a devotee, completely fearless. And that's quite tough to achieve in this world. But this is where Pariksit Maharaj was, totally fearless. Let the snake bird come. I am in the company of the great sages. What can the snake bird do? Simply destroy my body, that's all. But these sages, they will look after me, the Atma. His prayer was that even if he had to take his birth again in this material world, that he should be completely attached to Krishna. Associate with his devotees, have friendly relationships with all living beings. These are really amazing prayers and good example for us. That, yes, my Lord, you put me wherever you like. It's okay. Just let me always be attached to your lotus feet. Let me be in contact with your devotees and have good relationships with others. And the sages, they loved Pariksit Maharaj. They loved him very much. They praised him. They saw his saintly qualities, even though he's a king. He was a Raj Rishi, saintly king.
Nava idam rajaršivarya chitram bhavat sukrishnam samanuvratesu ye dhyasanam raja kirita jushtam sajjo jahur bhagavat parasva kama.
The sages say, O chief of all the saintly kings of the Pandu dynasty, who are strictly in the line of Lord Shri Krishna, it is not at all astonishing that you give up your throne, which is decorated with the helmets of many kings, to achieve eternal association with the personality of Godhead. No.
Sarve vayam tavad ihasmahitha Kalevaram yavad aso vihaya lokam param virajashkam vishokam yashati ayam bhagavata pradhanaha.
We shall all wait here until the foremost devotee of the Lord, Maharaj Pariksit, returns to the supreme planet, which is completely free from all mundane contamination and all kinds of lamentation.
आश्रुत्य तदृशी गणवचः परीक्षित् समं मधुचोद्गुरुचाव्यलीकम् आभासतेनानभिनन्द्य युक्तान् शुश्रूषमानश्चरितानि विष्णुः.
All that was spoken by the great sages was very sweet to hear, but full of meaning and appropriately present as perfect truth. So after hearing them, Maharaj Pariksit, desiring to hear at the activities of Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, congratulated the great sages.
समागताः सर्वतैव सर्वे वेदा यथा मूर्तिधरा श्रीपृष्ठे नेहाथ नामुत्र च काश्चनाथ ऋते परानुग्रहमात्मशीलम्.
The king said, "O great sages, you have all very kindly assembled here, having come from all parts of the universe. You are all as good as supreme knowledge personified, who resides in the planet above the three worlds, Satyalok. Consequently, you are naturally inclined to do good to others, and but for this you have no interest either in this life or in the next."
ततश्च वः पृच्छयमिमं विपृच्छे विश्रभ्य विप्रा इति कृत्यतायां सर्वात्मना म्रियमाणैश्च कृत्यं सुधं च तत्रामृसताभियुक्ताः.
O trustworthy Brahmins, I now ask you about my immediate duty. Please, after proper deliberation, tell me of the unalloyed duty of everybody in all circumstances and specifically of those who are just about to die.
Wonderful reading, young man. Fantastic.
Both of them.
Yeah, both of you. Well done. So, Pariksit Maharaj. Pariksit actually means examiner. Why was he called examiner? Because he was always looking for that Lord who came and protected him in the womb of his mother. He saw the Lord with 4 hands and yellow clothes and wearing kastuba jewel and looking effulgent and beautiful. And throughout his life, he was searching. He saw him for a moment, and then he disappeared. So throughout his life, he was always looking for that Lord. Whenever he sees somebody, he would examine that person. Are you the person I saw in the womb of my mother? That's why it was called Pariksit. The sages resolved to stay with Pariksit until he returned to the spiritual world. And this is look at the magnanimous nature of the sages. We're with you, my friend. We're with you. We're not going anywhere now. We're with you. Isn't that something special? I had that said to me today by a bishop. I'm with you. And I thought, wow, this is really amazing. So this is what devotees do. They support. They don't have to be just in Hinduism. It can be in any walk of life. Find these gems of people. The sages resolve to stay with Pariksit until he returns to the spiritual world, which is completely free from all mundane contaminations and all kinds of lamentation. The king asks the sages, okay, what is my duty? What is my immediate duty? And what is the duty of everyone in all circumstances, especially of those who are about to die? So Bhagavad Gita is how to live in this world. It's like a guidebook, how to live in this world. But the Bhagavatam is how to die in this world. It's a difference between the two. So very interesting. Thank you so much. And this is particularly pertinent to what Pariksit Maharaj is asking. How do I die? Please guide me.
तत्रा भवद् भगवान् व्यासपुत्रो यद्रेच्छया गामतमानुनपेक्षः अलक्ष्यलिङ्गो निजलाभतुस्तो वृतश्च बालेरवधूतवेषः.
At that moment, there appeared the powerful son of Vyasdev, who traveled over the earth, disinterested and satisfied with himself. He did not manifest any symptoms of belonging to any social order of status of life. He was surrounded with women and children, and he dressed as if others had neglected him.
Tam jastavarsham sukumarpada karuru bahvam sakapola gatram charvaryatakso nasatulya karna subhravananam kambusujata kantham.
The son of Vyasdev was only 16 years old. His legs, hands, thighs, arms, shoulders, forehead, and other parts of his body were all delicately formed, with his eyes were beautifully wide, and his nose and ears were highly raised. He had very attractive face, and his neck was well formed and beautiful like a conch shell.
निगूढजत्रुं पृथुतुङ्गवक्षसं आवर्तनाभिं बलिवल्गोदरं च दिगम्बरं वक्त्रविकीर्णकेशं प्रलम्बबाहुं समरोतमाभम्.
His collarbone was fleshy, his chest broad and thick, his navel deep, and his abdomen beautifully stripped. His arms were long, and curly hair was strewn over his beautiful face. He was naked, and the hue of his body reflected that of Lord Krishna.
Shamam sadapi vyavayungalakshmya Srinamanuyam ruchirasmitena Pratyuthitaste munaya swasanibhyas Talakshananyapi gudhavarchasham.
He was blackish and very beautiful due to his
Youth.
youth. Because of his glamour of his body and his attractive smiles, he was pleasing to women. Though he tried to cover his natural glories, the great sages present there was all expert in art of physiognomy, and so they honored him by rising from their seats.
Sa Vishnuratoti Tithaya Gataya Tasmai Saparyam Sirasa Jahara Tato Nivritahi Abhuta Sriyorbhaka Mahasani Sopa Vivesa Pujitaha.
Maharaj Pariksit, who is also known as Vishnurata, one who is always protected by Vishnu, bowed his head to receive the chief guest, Sukadev Goswami. At that time, all the ignorant women and boys ceased following Srila Sukadev, receiving respect from all. Sukadev Goswami took his exalted seat.
Samvritastatra mahan mahiyasam Brahmarshi Rajarshi Devarshi Sanghai Vyarochatalam Bhagavan Yathindur Graharkshatarani Karai Paritaha.
Sukadev Goswami was then surrounded by saintly sages and demigods, just like the moon. It's surrounded by stars, planets, and other heaven bodies. His presence was gorgeous, and he was respected by all.
Prashantamasinam makunthamidhasam munim ripo bhagavato bhyopetya pranamya murtha vahita kritanjali nadva girasum ritayan vaprichat.
The sage Sri Sukadev Goswami sat perfectly pacified, intelligent, and ready to answer any question without hesitation. The great devotee Maharaj Pariksit approached him, offered him respects by bowing before him, and politely inquired with sweet words and folded hands.
Okay. Are we muted?
No, we're not muted.
Okay, thank you. So let's have a quick look at this little section. And okay. Okay, good. At that moment, there appeared the powerful son of Vyasdev, Sukadeva Goswami, who traveled all over the world, disinterested but satisfied within himself. Now remember, he comes in the midst of thousands of sages already gathered, highly elevated, like Narad Muni, who is the guru of his guru, Vyasdev, who is his father, yeah. Now, Sukadeva Goswami did not manifest any symptoms of belonging to any social order or status of life. He was blackish, similar color to Krishna, very beautiful due to his youth. Because of the glamour of his body and attractive smile, he was pleasing to women. So he was actually surrounded by women and children. They were just tagging along with him, sometimes making fun of him because he was naked. But he didn't care. He was completely oblivious to any bodily connection. Though he tried to cover his natural glory, the sages present honored him by rising from their seats. So this is extraordinary. A young boy, how old was he? 16. 16-year-old boy had come in the presence of great, learned, old, ancient, some of them, sages. Sukadeva Goswami sat and was ready to answer any questions without he just sat in the arena. Let's just see if I got it. There you go. Sat on the Vyasasana. Extraordinary. So the king approached him, offered his obeisances by bowing before him, and spoke as follows. So there he is. He's just coming. The sages are standing, they're offering obeisances. Pariksit Maharaj is naturally attracted to this divine personality who just walked into the arena. Sukadeva Goswami. For the last section.
Pariksit uvacha aho adya vayam brahman satsevyah kshatra bandhavaha kripayati nirupena bhavadbhistirthakaha kritaha.
The fortunate King Pariksit said, "O Brahman, by your mercy only, you have sanctified us, making us like into places of pilgrimage, all by your presence, by here as my guest. By your mercy, who are but unworthy royalty, become eligible to serve the devotee."
Yesham samsmaranat pumsam sadyah sadhyanti vaigrihaha kim punardarshana sparsha padasochasanadibhihi.
Simply by your remembering, by our remembering you, our houses become instantly sanctified, and what to speak of seeing you, touching you, washing your holy feet, and offering you a seat in our home.
सनिध्याते महायोगिन् पातकानि महान्ति अपि सद्यो नश्यन्ति वै पुंसां विष्णुरेव सुरेतरः.
Just as the atheist cannot remain in presence of the personality of Godhead, so also the invulnerable signs of man's sins of man are immediately vanquished in your presence, O saint, O great mystic.
अपि मे भगवान् प्रीतः कृष्णः पाण्डुसुत प्रियः पैत्रस्वस्य प्रीत्यर्थं तद्गोत्रस्यात् बान्धवः.
Lord Krishna is the personality of Godhead who is very dear to the sons of King Pandu, has accepted me as one of those relatives just to please his great cousin and brothers.
अन्यथा ते व्यक्तगते दर्शनं नः कथं विनाम नितरां म्रियमाणानां संसिद्धस्य वनीयसः.
Otherwise, without being inspired by Lord Krishna, how is it that you have voluntarily appeared here? Though you are moving incognito to the common man and are not visible to us, who are on the verge of death.
अतः पृच्छामि संसिद्धिं योगिनां परमं गुरुं पुरुषस्य यत् कार्यं म्रियमाणस्य सर्वथा.
You are spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, and especially for one who is about to die.
यत् श्रोतव्यम् अथो जप्यम् यत् कर्तव्यम् नृभिः प्रभो स्मर्तव्यम् भजनीयम् वा ब्रूहि यत् वा विपर्ययम्.
Please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember, and worship, and also what he should do. Please explain. Should not do. Please explain all this to me.
नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् गृहेषु गृहमेधिनां न लक्ष्यते हि अवस्थानम् अपि गोदोहनं क्वचित्.
Powerful Brahman, it is said that you hardly stay in the houses of men long enough to milk a cow.
Sutta uvacha evam abhasitah prishtah saranyas-lakshnaya gira pratyabhasata dharmanyo bhagavan badarayanihi. Hare Krishna.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, the king thus spoke and questioned the sage using sweet language. Then the great and powerful personality, the son Vyasadeva, son of Vyasadeva, who knew the principles of religion, began to reply.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. 19th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto Ki Jai, end of first canto Ki Jai. So simply by remembering you in our homes, this is Pariksit Maharaj, he's glorifying Sukadev Goswami. Remembering the devotees in our homes, we become instantly sanctified. What to speak of seeing you, touching you, washing your lotus feet and offering you a seat in our homes. It said that that home that doesn't invite devotees to their homes is like a barren place, like a desert. There's no nectar in that place. It's just a hellish condition, hellish place. And he also said that you hardly stay in one place. You stay in that place long enough for the cow to be milked and then you're gone. This is the nature of the renounced saintly people. They're not attached to anything. They come, they bless, they instruct, they leave. You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I beg you to show me the path of perfection for all persons, especially for one who is about to die. So there you go. He's asking again. He's asked the sages. Now he's asking Sukadev Goswami. Please tell me what a man should do and what he should not do. So first, that's the end of the first canto. Very, very instructive. And sets this foundation, sets the scene for the rest of the Bhagavatam. So yes, so Sunil, yes, go ahead, Sunil.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Bol Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
It was an incident. It happened while Ratha Yatra. We were preparing for the Ratha Yatra, and I am involved in the cooking department. So
Right.
I was taking care of the pots and cleaning the pots and everything, preparing everything. It takes almost 3 days. And in the garden, I was cleaning the pots, and before the cleaning the pots, I was cleaning the garden, so I can work. I can work, make the work very easy for me. So I just cleaned it, and then afterwards I use some Glorex, Glor or Glorex. What you call that in England, UK?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Chloride.
Oh, chloride.
Okay.
And then some below the earth, some species are also living here.
Yeah.
And I saw the Glorex come into that species, and he was, it's something I don't know how to say, but I can say it in Hindi. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
अच्छा ऐसा हुआ कि मैंने ग्लोरेक्स यूज किया, तो वो जो है, जो मिट्टी के अंदर जो होता है ना, वो चारा निकला, उसको ऊपर पहुंच गया। मुझे नहीं पता था। तो उन्होंने ऐसे बहुत तरफ के मर गया। And at the time, I was shocked. I was really shocked. And still, this is just one example. So many things happen in my life. That's why I would like to become a devotee. So many things happen, but अब ये होता है कभी कभी मेरे कर्जे में चूकता है ना, तो अभी मैं सोच रहा हूँ ये मैंने इतना 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 दर्द दिया, इतना वो जानवर जो है ना, अभी और भी जानवर होते हैं जो मैं आंखों से देख नहीं पाया, उसको भी ये सब दर्द हुआ। तो अभी आई थिंक ये जो अभी आपने बोला था ना सुखदेव गोस्वामी के बारे में, महाराज परीक्षित के बारे में, तो दंड दंड तो मिलेगा ही। तो आई मीन ये तो मुझे मिलेगा, आई हैव टू एक्सेप्ट इट। किसी ने मेरे को बोला कि एट दैट टाइम यू शुड चैंट हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे। बस उस टाइम मैंने तो आई मीन मेरा तो वो क्या बोलते हैं, वो तो मेरा समझ में कुछ नहीं आया, बिल्कुल डर गया। तो ये प्रश्न है कि अब ये तो हुआ, हो गया, ऐसा हो गया, ऐसे और भी कुछ हुआ है, तो what should we do? We should give some, anyway, I don't know if you have any answer, or maybe if you don't have, you can send me some links where I can find some. Anyway, that's it. Prabhu, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Yes. From what from my understanding is that these incidents will happen regardless of whether we're doing knowingly or unknowingly. But sometimes we have to learn, like, again, if you realize that if you're using that product and it's harmful to even little insects, then it will remind you not to use that again. So sometimes you have to learn from those mistakes, even though you've done it unknowingly. That's one thing that I realize from this incident. I mean, these things will happen throughout our life, because sometimes you don't know what's in a product and things like that. So they just have to make sure we don't do it again and again and again. That's one thing that we can do. Thing is, yeah, it's completely unavoidable. This is the material world. We are always going to have situations where we are causing unknowingly harm to other living entities. Even while it's breathing, you've got so many amoebas and so many viruses in the air. You're always causing some effect. And that's why Krishna says to Arjuna, just give up everything, surrender unto me. So when that person advised you to chant Hare Krishna, that's really good advice. Because it's not that we chant Hare Krishna and kill somebody, but we're going to commit mistakes. This is part of human life, part of the material world. So, but if we're focused on Mahamantra, if we're focused on Krishna, on the Supreme Lord, then that's the only thing we can do. Let the rest come, let the rest, what to do, you have to kind of avoid the karma. But what we can do is wait patiently for the mercy of the Lord, and at the same time suffer the deeds that we've performed, the reactions to the deeds that we have performed. Don't get too anxious. And the thing is, if you're serving the Supreme Lord, be very fearless. Fearless in His service. When we're chanting Hare Krishna, we're fearless. Not arrogant, just fearless. And when we're serving, it's with full heart. This is my duty, my privilege, my honor to do something for you, my Lord. Thank you so much for giving me this amazing service. It may be, cleaning the toilets, or it may be doing arti on the altar. It may be distributing his books. It may be giving pravachan. It may be listening to pravachan. But take that as the Lord's kindness. Don't be fearful of this might happen, that might. Don't worry. That fear will make,
that's what we have to overcome.
And it'll make your bhakti a little shaky. So
anyway, just 1 second more, please.
sure.
If you clean the toilets, I'm doing that regularly in a temple or at home. Use this kind of products. तो उसमें वो ऐसे वो होते हैं ना कीटाणु जानवर, तो otherwise it will कोई smell निकलेगा ना. So otherwise, I mean, I don't know if there is anything alternatively, but in the West, I mean, इसको तो हम यूज करते हैं. तो वहां भी तो ऐसे लोग ऐसे जो कीटाणु होते हैं ना और जानवर होते हैं, वो उसको उनका मृत्यु होते हैं, तो उसका कर्मा हमें तो मिलेगा ना.
Yeah.
This is how to deal. Some devotees say use just only water. बहुत उसके बारे में तो स्मेल निकलेगा. क्या करे? It's something like the same story, you know.
No, I mean, we have to make sure it, we live in a hygienic environment, because otherwise it will cause us to be unhealthy as well. But that is why even Prabhupada recommends you should be just chanting all the time, chanting Mahamantra all the time. And because you're doing that, you are fearless. And even if you're causing harm to others, then those entities will be hearing the Mahamantra.
Yes, good point.
So it will benefit them, and it's benefiting you because you're always also thinking of Krishna. So we are using these products. I'm sure there are environmentally friendly products and things like that. Might need to do research on that. But because we're using these products, harm will come to some entities. But if we're chanting all the time, even by cleaning the toilet, you can be chanting the Mahamantra, and as a, it'll benefit and make you fearless as well, because you won't be thinking. You might get the karma, but because you're thinking of Krishna, maybe that Krishna will make that karma a bit less and give you the strength to endure that reaction as well.
It's a really good point, because we were driving good 30 years back to with Sakiras and Nitin Bhai. We were driving to a program in I think it was
Wales.
Manchester. Was it Wales?
I think
Wales
so.
or Manchester, one of those.
Bath.
And on the way, I was noticing that because we were driving quite quick, we were killing so many insects against the windscreen. Yeah. So I asked the devotee, does this mean we're going to get some bad karma? And the devotee said, no, because we're acting in the service of the Supreme Lord. So whoever is unfortunately accidentally, killed in this service, they will get a better life in the next, because, we engaged in bhakti, and it's happened in that sort of seva. Yeah. So.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mata.
All right. Now, thank you for your questions. Really good questions.
Sometimes I'm a bit anxious कि जैसे मैंने ये किया, तो जैसे भारत में होता है, बांग्लादेश में भी होता है, पता नहीं और किधर होता है, पर भारत और बांग्लादेश का मुझे पता है, वो एसिड फेंक देते हैं ना. ऐसा कभी-कभी ये एंशियस और फियर होता कि शायद अगले जन्म में कोई मेरे ऊपर एसिड ना फेंक.
Yeah.
It's something anxious for me.
Yeah. As I said, if you just keep on chanting the Mahamantra, then it will make you less anxious as well.
Good. Thank you, Surinder, anything you'd like to add, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Yes, Srinitananda Chandram Patita Sharanadam Gauradam Tam Bhajiham. So in Prapanajivanitam, another title of acceptance of the favorable to practice Krishna consciousness, there is one verse mentioned here as follows. Sarvatra tad anukampa darshanad eva tat siddhi tattenukampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvag vapubhir vidadhan namaste jiveta yo mukti pade sadaya bhak. This verse has been spoken by Lord Brahma. So the translation is as follows. One can see the grace of the Supreme Lord in every situation. Yes. So it says, one who in the hope of achieving your grace goes on enduring the inauspicious fruit of his own karma and passes his days practicing devotion unto you in every thought, word, and deed. Such a person is heir to the land of freedom. He attains to the plane of positive immortality and stays fixed in Krishna consciousness. Yes, so in this way, with this Krishna Katha, with the Leela of Pariksit Maharaj, and Sukadev Goswami has arrived to recite the Srimad Bhagavatam. So with the Leela of Pariksit Maharaj, we understand that Pariksit Maharaj, he committed an offense. He put a dead snake around the neck of Samika Rishi. So this is Vaishnava Aparadh. So from this Leela, we understand that we should not commit Vaishnava Aparadh. Most importantly is that we should avoid Vaishnava Aparadh. And even to the point of Mahabhagavat stage, when we are practicing Krishna consciousness, there are different stages of Krishna consciousness. There is a neophyte stage, and there is the higher stage up to the level of Mahabhagavat stage. So our Gurudev said that even if one reaches up to the Mahabhagavat stage, one should be very careful not to commit Nama Aparadh, not to commit Vaishnava Aparadh. This is very important because the Vaishnava Aparadh, they are compared to like holes in a cup. And whatever Krishna consciousness we are practicing, like Hari Kirtan and Hari Katha we are listening, it will, the merits, spiritual merits will go through the holes of this Vaishnava Aparadh we may be committing. So we should strictly avoid committing Vaishnava Aparadh. So with this, there is a case scenario. One time, our senior devotee was taking prasadam in Navadvip Dham, sitting in a row, and then there was another devotee sitting next to him. Then one devotee suddenly came and punched the other devotee who was sitting next to our friend, and he punched him in the face. And the devotee who received the punch immediately bowed down to the devotee who punched him and recited this verse, Tatte na nukampam susak maksimana, means my karma has come to face me. So he bowed down to him and accepted that this is must have done something bad, and its reaction come to me. So he had this Krishna conscious mood that he has to endure all these karmic reactions and continue practicing his Krishna consciousness with every thought, word, and deed. So in this way, also in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned that up to the Mahabhagavat stage, still one can have some faces some problem if one is not careful. So there is a verse in Prem Dham Deva Stotra. It goes as follows: Nasta Kushta Kurma Vipra Rupa Bhakti Toshanam Ramadasa Vipra Moha Mukta Bhakta Poshanam Kala Krishna Dasa Mukta Bhatathari Pinjaram Prema Dhama Devam Eva Numi Gaura Sundaram. So there are three devotees, example of the Leela of three devotees in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Nasta Kushta Kurma Vipra means refers to Vasudev Datta. He's a Brahmana from in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he had leprosy, and he had maggots in all the wounds, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu saved him. So even up to the stage of Mahabhagavat, one can develop a physical health problem, just like Vasudev Datta had leprosy, and even maggots in those wounds. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu embraced him, and he was cured by the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. The next devotee is Ramdas Vipramoha. Ramdas was another Mahabhagavat, but he has been harboring a misconception that Sita Devi's chastity was polluted when Ravana touched him, etc. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he quoted from Kurma Puran and explaining that the absolute truth, the spiritual energy, cannot be contaminated by the material energy, which is represented by Ravana. And therefore, this goes on like that. And then the third example is of that of Kaliya Krishnadas. Kala Krishnadas, also known as Kala Krishnadas or Kaliya Krishnadas. And despite he being absorbed in the personal service of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Supreme Percent of Godhead, he left the service of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, being attracted to beautiful women in the Bhattatari community. And therefore, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he wanted to bring him back. So this is a magnanimity of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that despite our tendency for some flaws in our practicing life, we may encounter some difficulty. Then Gauranga Mahaprabhu, if we take shelter of Gauranitai, then Gauranitai will come to save us. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu rescued Kala Krishnadas from the Bhattatari community, brought him back, and gave him the responsibility of Nityananda Prabhu. So our solace is that we shall be protected by the grace of Nityananda Prabhu. So that's why we are always reciting Sri Nityananda Chandram Patita Sharanadam Gauradam Tam Bhajyam, like that. So in Chaitanya Bhagavad, it says that Sri Nityananda Prasade se Gaura Chandra Jani, Sri Nityananda Prasade se Vaishnavare Chini, Sri Nityananda Prasade se Ninda Hoya Kshaya, and Sri Nityananda Prasade se Vishnu Bhakti Hoya. So it is recommended that we always take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu and Gauranga Mahaprabhu in this way to be protected. Nitai Gaur Haribol Prabhu, thank you very much.
Thank you. Very, very good examples and of the devotee. And I like the example of the devotee got punched in the face. That was interesting.
Yes. And he bowed down and recited this verse.
Yeah, that's incredible.
He must be a great devotee. Yes.
Where did that happen?
In Navadvip Dham.
Oh my Lord.
It can happen. But that is the amazing thing is that devotees come different background people join Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, yeah.
And Guru and Gauranga are merciful. They accept these different background people.
Yeah.
And because of different background people, some people have this bad habit of maybe overeating. Some people may be having bad habit of oversleeping. And some people may even have the bad habit of freely mixing with women. But any condition, if they're trying to practice Krishna consciousness, then we should avoid do Vaishnava Ninda. Rather, we should be absorbed in Hari Kirtan and Hari Katha. And we should find fault in ourselves. And with regard to dealing with other Vaishnavas, we should see the good qualities of the other Vaishnavas, like that. Our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Rakshak Siddhardev Goswami Maharaj has said is that we should not become a drain inspector. Yeah. Drain inspector means like we are looking at filthy things in the drainage system. And then if we are popping our head in the drain system, then most likely the filth from the drainage system will splash on our head and face. So it comes back. That's why we should avoid the fault-finding attitude, and we should always respect, humble, tolerant, respectful, and do not expect hana in return. And also we should serve the Vaishnavas, not to commit Vaishnava pride, but rather serve the Vaishnavas. Bhakata sevaya parama siddhi. And in this way, we shall try to endeavor to practice our Krishna consciousness, avoid offenses, and always Namaruchi, Jivedaya, and Vaishnava Seva. In this way. Nitai Gaura Haribol Prabhu, thank you very much.
Thank you. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other comments? Puna Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, I got one question.
Yes, and Kaushalya Mataji.
What was Sukadev Maharaj's Mataji's name?
Actually, she's married to Vyasdev. Sorry, his father is Vyasdev, and the Mataji is obviously married to Vyasdev. What was her name? I've forgotten her name now. Anybody remember the wife's name of Vyasdev? Let me just have a quick look.
I thought Vyasdev was Brahmachari, no?
No. Vatika. Yes, Vatika. That was her name.
Vatika, yeah?
Vyasdev was, of course, he's actually not different from Krishna. He's a literal incarnation of Krishna. But he is married. And he also fathered the children of, the Pandu, Vidur, and Dhritarashtra. So he was not a brahmachari. But he's not different from Krishna himself.
So he was the father of even Pandu, Vidur?
Yeah.
And Dhritarashtra?
Yeah.
Satyavati, his mother asked him, I need your help. There's no hair.
Male person.
Yeah, there's no hair left. You have to do this. And he said, yes, mother, I'll do what you want.
All right.
Extraordinary person.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we can close. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, Ki Jai. Well done, Ananda Leela. You went through the whole canto. You did fantastically well. Well done. Amazing.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you. She's gone upstairs now.
Sure.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you very
her
much.
for us. Huh? Thank her for
All
us.
the Vaishnavas, to Jayanti Mata and Prabhu Nabinandan Jai.
All devotees present. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.